Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Holowitz, and I want to thank you for being here for this tutorial on Act Marketing Automation. So in this tutorial, I want to just talk to you about some things that probably would help you sort of come to grips with working with this. And what I mean by that is this. I have experience doing web design. I have experience for the years of working with graphics. I'm not a graphic artist by any means, but the web design part of the experience I have makes it so some of the things you do here are a little bit easier for me than it might be for you if you don't have that experience. And the reason I say that is because you can get into some of this stuff and realize this is just not really self-explanatory. Some of it isn't really going to jump out at you. You got to sort of fall into it a little bit. And let me show you an example of what I mean by that. When I bring my pointer over here on the main body, all of a sudden these little boxes start to pop up. And these little boxes, as you start going over these items and they pop up, it's like, okay, now what? What do you do with them? Well, for example, I'm going to come up here and I'm just, now that I'm in this box with what looks like a little image holder, I'm going to click. And when I clicked, all of a sudden this stuff showed up over here on the right hand side. If you're used to working with things like Microsoft Office, they have contextual tabs. And what contextual tabs are is things only show up when you click on them. So in other words, as I go over things, things might not show up, but when I actually click on the items, things all of a sudden might change over here on the right hand side. Now you would not necessarily know that, and it's not until you click on something it's like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? So when you click on one of these items, you can delete it, you can duplicate it, or you can actually come here and drag and move it elsewhere. So to give you an example of that, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to drag this up towards the top and let go. Now I missed it. I didn't let go properly. And see, that's a great example. It's not letting me drag it up to the top. What I anticipate I have to do is instead of dragging this one up, I'm going to drag this one down. And see, that didn't even work. So this is a great example of even me with someone with experience. Sometimes I've got to work through this stuff myself. So this software, in my opinion, can be a little intimidating at times, especially if you're just new to it. And because of that, I urge you to just focus on the end goal. Don't focus on, making the world's greatest template. Just get by. Even if you need to get help with this, just get your first template done, because once that template is done, you can move forward. So when you start working with information within this, it's okay to be a little confused with this information. In fact, if you're not, I'd be surprised. But I had also said that you need to think of this software as being outside of Act. Even though this is part of Act's software program, think of it as a completely different piece of software that you're learning from scratch. Don't take your frustration out on Act. Take your frustration out on this, and that it's a new tool and you're learning how to work with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to go over this a little bit with you just so you had a better understanding of some things that you can do with this and how it can be a little confusing and how it's not always intuitive with some of the things you do. Thank you very much. Have a great day.